Hi there, and welcome to Hell, this FC St Pauli podcast, brought to you by Trevor Evans and my good friend
Luke.
That's
Hello,
right.
everyone.
That's your cue. I think we. So welcome. This is our first episode of doing a podcast. We are a couple of Brits living in Hamburg.
Hey.
Am I allowed to say that?
No Brit.
Potato, or potato.
But yeah, I'm from Belfast. I'll leave it up to everyone else to decide.
Yeah, and I'm from Liverpool. But yeah, rooted in Germany as well. And we're good friends. We play football here in Hamburg together, and we've decided, hey, opportunity here. We know of an English podcast that exists. Let's make some more. There's enough of an audience out there. Big team, big fan base. Let's bring it to the masses. So yeah, that's where it comes from, really. Anything to add to that, Luke?
No, not really. We're quite new to this, so bear with us, I guess.
Total amateurs, so that's where we come from, and it's a case that we've got a bit of a show format set out, so we'll see how it flows. If it works, great. If not, then we'll bin it and start from scratch. But we're going to try and make it conversational. So reviewing the game that's just happened. So in this case, Kaiserslautern, as we're away. A couple of news points throughout the course of the week that catch our attention and are worthy of heated discussion. It can get quite fiery up in here. And then a quick review of the upcoming game. So in this case, it's going to be at home to Magdeburg. So, without further ado, let's get stuck into it. So today, Kaiserslautern, hit me.
Yeah. First defeat of the season for your boys in brown.
It's painful, eh?
It was, yeah, that familiar feeling. You sort of get used to it as a St Pauli fan, but today was particularly tough just because that early goal. So finished 2-1. There was an early goal by Kaiserslautern off the head of
Terence Boyd. That's the man.
Who you picked out as a...
Yeah, I feel pretty responsible because I highlighted Eric Durm and Terence Boyd as the two men to watch, and they're the two that combined within 10 minutes to put them ahead. So yeah, my bad.
Yeah, and once a team managed by Derek Schuster goes ahead, they sit back, compact, and you could tell, anytime St Pauli got the ball anywhere near their box, there's so many red shirts back there. Really made
it's a bit Mourinho-esque, like parking the bus, eh? Just jump in, take the lead.
And you know what it's like with Mourinho. As soon as he gets a 1-goal lead, it's shut up shop and hit them on the counter. And they did it well, to be fair to them.
Yeah, really
I think they deserved the 3 points in this game.
St Pauli certainly grew into the game. It's a bit disjointed to begin with, but then all of a sudden, I don't know whether it seemed to be a new formation. Obviously, there were a couple of changes to the lineup. So Afiz and Bukhari. No, I would say Bukhara. Bukalfa, that's his name. Sorry, Bukalfa. I couldn't say his name today. I just keep getting it wrong. So Bukalfa coming in, and then Matanovic dropping to the bench, and Eric Smith completely out of contention through injury. But it seemed like a new shape as well. It was very narrow, like diamond shapey.
Yeah, it seemed to be a diamond in midfield with Bukalfa in the number 10. But he would often drop deep and let Hartl and Irvine push on, which was interesting to see.
I was getting confused to begin with. I thought Hartl was the man starting up top behind the two strikers, but it's nice to fluid, right? It's harder to keep track. But as long as there's a good communication between the three and they're able to get back and forth, which they did 90% of the time, then it works. It's good. Very, very industrious.
Aramu didn't have a bad game, but I still hope Eric Smith's injury isn't too serious. He started the season really well.
So do you refer to him as Aramu or Afiz?
The full name's Afiz Aramu, right? Yeah.
What's he have on the back of his shirt? It does, that's why I say Afiz. What's he got on the back of his shirt? I think it's Aramu, right?
Good question. I think it is Aramu, yeah.
I'm going to stick with Afiz. That's sweet. Good.
So Smith got a goal and an assist last time out, so it was a surprise to see him not in the squad for this one,
Yeah.
but it looks like he picked up an abductor problem, whatever that is.
Is that?
No clue.
I don't even want to know. It sounds brutal, right? Sounds alien,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's not. But yeah, hopefully he's not out for too long because he's that kind of important player that we're going to need this season, alongside Hadl and Irvine in the middle. That trio is quite solid, to be fair, and complement each other very nicely.
Even without him, St Pauli controlled the game.
Sure.
I don't know if maybe they had so much of the ball because Kaiserslautern went up early and they just sat back, as we mentioned before. But with their, I think it was 64% possession, they didn't create an awful lot of chances.
Oh man, it's painful. In the first half, not a single shot on goal, as in on target. I mean, right? So it's pretty dire.
Yeah, we really need to get those strikers firing.
But even the midfielders,
started...
I mean, Jackson Irvine came close with a glancing header, and there were a few stray strikes, but it seemed like Matanovic, who came on at half-time, was given the directive by Timo Schulz to, hey, get the ball down and shoot on goal. And it's a little bit, what do you call it? It took him a while to get into the game. His first 3 touches of the ball, I just remember being a bit stray. So stray passes and loose touches and stuff, which is not characteristic of him. But then he calmed down a bit, I think. Maybe it's just the disappointment not starting and then being brought on and then having to jump into the game. But he certainly grew into it. And he was the danger man. The ball was getting to him. He's always a bit too far out. He wasn't central. He was taking a bit too many touches, as per usual, before pulling the trigger. But the keeper was equal to it every time, which sometimes is your day, sometimes it's not, right?
Yeah. I couldn't help but feel a bit jealous of Kaiserslautern having Terence Boyd up front, who just seems like
he was a bully as well. He was like, I think it's early on in the first half. I think it's Madic who cleared the ball, and Terence Boyd knew that was happening and just cleaned him out. It's like, right, I'm here, and I'm going to be coming for these, just to put doubt into the defender's mind, which is always old school striker.
He did miss a sitter.
He did.
He hit the post.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. It was a bit of a reactive shot too, because it's drilled at him by the defender from the corner. No, not from the corner, through the jinxie run. I think it was. He managed to get to the byline, out-muscled Pacarada, and then worked his way into the area and pulled it back. But then, hit the post from 2 yards out. So, but then he made the second goal too. So
he scored his first goal in the 9th minute. Then it took St Pauli until the 88th minute to. It first came.
It was 2-0 first in the 86th, I think it was, with Redondo, who was a substitute as well, who came on and got his goal. But it's a nice overlapping run because St Pauli defenders were all stacked towards the ball. It's like we're chasing the ball, 3 defenders to 2 attackers, and left a whole huge space at the top of the pitch. That's where Terence Boyd set himself up. Redondo overlapped him, completely unchallenged, and just drilled it into the root. Like, I don't know how close he got for Smash, whether it's through him or I didn't see that angle, but it's a great strike, to be fair. I mean, it's one of those where you just hit it so sweet that there's only one inevitable outcome, and that's when it's 2-0. And then, right, you mentioned we got one back in the dying stages.
Yeah, it turned out to be a consolation goal.
But what a consolation, eh? Did you...
Medic
unmarked back post on the full volley from a corner, and just drills it through the crowd. Nobody touched it, straight through the middle of the goal. And it's his 3rd goal of the season, the 2 against Streilen. So
that's right.
Is he our second? Is he top goal scorer? No, Jackson Irvine's got 3 as well, right?
I think Jackson just has the 2 in the league this year. So But at the time when we got a goal back, I think we had every attacker in the club on the pitch at that stage.
I think
and we're still relying on a centre back to score. We had, because Aminiedo came off the bench. It's good to see him back, but Mantanovic also came off the bench, and Otto Egersheim is still on, I think, and maybe even Dashner as well. So we were so many attackers on the pitch, and just still relying on on a centre half scoring from a set piece.
It's a bit
it's not
mad.
ideal, is it?
But Amenido was playing a lot deeper, so he seemed to be. He's picking up the ball in the centre circlets in some occasions to link up play. Even he dilly dallied once or twice and got caught out, but for the most part he did okay there. To be honest, like he's not. Hopefully, he's not a permanent fixture, but he did all right.
Yeah, so in your commentary, actually, well, for the uninitiated, Trev does the English commentary for
I wasn't going to say
St
anything,
Pauli
but okay.
TV. And you mentioned in your commentary, you described the attack as toothless, and I couldn't agree more. They were just off the pace, and all season, I guess they've impressed at times. I've liked Dashner and Egerstein.
Yeah, he's really good.
You can see there's quality there, but killer instinct is just missing sometimes.
So, I mean, what do you think it's going to take for it to turn good? Is there a good combination? 2 up top, 3 up top? What's the?
I think it's just going to be whoever starts scoring goals. Really, maybe Amenido coming back.
But for the next game, like Magdeburg, what would you like to see?
I think I would stick with the two that started up top today, so Dashner and Egerstein, because I mean Egerstein's new to the club. They're both young, so it might take time to form a partnership and get a bit of chemistry.
Do you not think Dashner was missing a bit today, though? Because the previous games he's been so influential from a slightly deep position and going on. I think we missed that significantly today. Mm-hmm. And with him being up top, there were a few chances in the first half where he linked up nicely with Pacarada and Jackson Irvine and nearly got to the byline, but got sniffed out at the final hurdle. But the first 2 games, especially Nuremberg, he was a man possessed. He was really good.
Maybe he was just being played slightly out of position for the match against Kaiserslautern, as you mentioned, because Bukalfa came into that number 10 position where you would normally expect to find.
He wasn't as effective. Bukalfa was a bit absent today. Maybe it's just match practice and stuff, but I really thought Dashner he can influence the game almost not to the levels of Chire, but a glimpse of. So I think maybe not Matanovic up top, but I don't even know whether it's the best to go with 3, because Egerstein seems to spend most of his time in the channels anyway. He's not a target man, a central striker. We didn't really, because then he's getting out there and then there's no one in the box to aim for except Jackson Irvine arriving on his lung-busting runs from in a defensive position to then get into an attacking position. So, I don't know whether we've gotten.
I think a game like today probably would have suited Matanovic, which is why he tended to have an impact whenever he came off the bench, because he's a lot more physical than our other options, and they were sitting deep and getting men behind the ball. So I think a game like this would have suited him more than other matches where, against Hanover, for example, they're a lot more involved in the game and there was space in behind for the likes of Egerstein and Dashner, but there was none of that. We
said previously that Matanovic needs to up his game. Did we see enough in the second half for him to warrant a starting berth against Magdeburg?
So my problem with him was always that he just wouldn't get involved in the game, and at least he did that whenever he came on. Like, you could tell he was
super sub style.
Sometimes whenever he's starting, maybe that's his role. Who knows? We do have plenty of attacking options right now.
Right. It's just finding the right combination.
It might take Timo Schultz.
That's the crux of the question. What's the right combination? We've got lots of attacking players, but what's the right recipe? Like last year, it's quite easy to pick. For this year, it seems to be tricky.
Yeah, there's a lot of goals to replace. After Bergstalla and Kire left the club, they had a total goal tally last year of 30 just in the league, which is exceptional. And even the next 2 top goal scorers after them are no longer at the club. So Ditchin and Mackinock, so it's tough to see where those 30 plus goals are going to come from.
We'll trust in the powers that be for now, and then make some hindsight judgment later. That's sweet. But on the other end of the pitch, I mean, defence. So first few games, it's a bit nervy. Every time the ball was going back, I was terrified. And there's one point today where I think there's no Kaiserslautern playing around them. It's just Medic, really high ball over the top, Medic and Smash. And I still got nervous because they both still looked indecisive, even though there's no one around them. It still looked like, okay, am I going for it? Are you going for it? What's the deal? And it's just like, guys, come on, you should be on top of this already.
Yeah, I'm happy enough with our fullbacks. Like, Paka obviously is fantastic. We know all about him. One of the best fullbacks in the league. The new boy at right back, Saliakas, he seems to be a tidy little player. He Terence Boyd beat him in the air today, but
yeah,
that's to be expected. There's about 2 foot difference in height there.
Yeah,
but
he shouldn't have
more
been,
the centre backs that worry me a bit.
Is going to obviously target him. It should be up to the central defenders to track him to an extent, but that's another topic. But yeah, I mean, I think the defense was a lot stronger today. Faslihi, I can't remember how to say his name. Faslihi was pretty good in the middle. He's a bit more calm and a good partner for Medic, because Medic is sometimes great but very irrational as well. But it seems to be a calming influence on, which is good.
No, I agree on that. Yeah, but they're going to have to tighten things up at the back, because it's now 6 goals conceded in 3 league matches, which is not great.
The 2 goals today, neither of them was sloppy though. Too much. So that's something, I suppose. I mean, except for the second goal, but we were attacking to try and equalise, right? And then it's a counter attack, and then too many players ran towards the ball rather than following the runners at the top. But because I think, like I said, it's 3 against 2, 3 white shirts crowding around the ball and completely neglecting our right back position. So
yeah, luckily the individual errors didn't come from the back today. It was more the forwards that were, breaking down attacks because of poor decision making or just loss of concentration, losing the ball. There was no real flow to our attack today, I thought.
No, yeah, that's true. It's a kind of just, okay, we've got the ball. What's our plan? Where do we go from here? We've got the ball, great. Now what? But I guess that'll come. It's because the players are still gelling. I don't know. But there were still positives today, I thought. There was still a few things to take from it. Controlled the game well. Could have been obviously because the Kaiserslautern were happy for us to just have it. But there were a few nice incisive passes, like Pakarada through to Hadl onto Matanovic shot. That's a pretty nice move. A few more of those. I think Pakarada and Hadl started to get those connections going again.
Yeah, and then Jackson Irvine linking up with Saliakas on the right-hand side as well. They seem to be developing a bit of a partnership. I'm really happy with our midfield and fullbacks. It's just centre-back and up top, which is the little matter of the rest of the team.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, in St Pauli we trust. The transfer window is still open, I think, so we should be okay. Maybe a couple of signings. There's still budget, surely. I mean, we sold Chire and Bergstaller for good money, and there should be dollars for signings if the right deal comes along. Not just spending it for the sake of it, but there could be Ronaldo's looking for a new club.
I don't think there's any need to panic. Season's still early. It's for
sure. I mean, it's only the top of the table is only 3 points away, so it's 3 games in, no stress yet. It's still early doors. We saw how last season when we were 10 points ahead by Christmas and ended up not being 10 points ahead. so
things can change
very
quickly, especially in this league. So I'm not giving up on promotion hopes just yet.
You haven't ripped up your season ticket and burned anything yet?
Nope.
Still wearing your cap? You're okay?
Of course. Yeah.
Good man.
I don't think there's any cause for panic. It's a young team, they'll have a lot of time with Timo Schultz, who's a great coach on the training ground. So I have confidence that, as the season goes on, they'll gel a bit more. Hopefully our strikers start firing. and see us move up the league.
Very good, very good. So, with that, then, so I think the game were generally happy, despite the loss, of course. Positive signs, no major issues. Like in terms of news from the club, is there anything that's caught your attention? Like the Saliakas suspension. I don't think I've seen that confirmed yet either. We appealed, but there's still no news on it, right?
Not that I've heard, no. So far I think he's still suspended. We haven't got an update on that one yet.
And transfer news, there's literally nothing except Madic potentially off to Stuttgart, but
can't see that happening. I mean, we're already quite light in centre back. I don't see St Pauli letting him go, and Borman already came out and said he's not leaving.
Fair enough then, cool. I mean, he's the man with the plan, so let's we can just not waste our breath anymore and just nip that in the bud. It's done.
yeah.
Sweet. Cool. Well, in that case then, should we turn our attention to next weekend? It's a big home game against Magdeburg, another team that's just been promoted, of course.
Yeah, they finished above.
They finish top?
I think they won the.
They finished top, right? I was looking at that earlier. Kaiserslautern was second, I think, and Magdeburg were top. So yeah, I didn't.
But yeah, they haven't had as good a start to life in the second division as Kaiserslautern.
They've not fared so well in transitioning, but it's as we said.
They have. Yeah, it's early doors, but they've won and lost 2 this season so far. So I was reading up on them a bit there, and it seems like they're riddled with missed chances and individual errors, which, sounds quite familiar. Sort of mirroring St Pauli start of the season as well. But luckily, we've got more points.
It's gonna be an entertaining game next weekend. Then, if it's the same story, both teams.
But these are the games that St Pauli really have to be winning. Newly promoted side who they're basically just going to be trying to stay in the division this year. I don't think they have any grand hopes of getting promoted or anything. So
no aspirations beyond that. Just survival.
Yeah. So at home to Magdeburg, nothing but 3 points is acceptable, really, in my mind.
You're at the game as well.
I'll be there. How about yourself?
I could get cheering on. I might be. I'm trying to get a ticket. I went online and it's sold out, but I know people with boxes.
Oh, prawn sandwich brigade, huh?
Yeah, exactly right. I'm gonna try and see how it goes. Otherwise, spend time with the wife.
I'll be in the gig Garada with the real fans. So.
All right. Ouch. But I mean, it's a case of who to watch in this case, because I've not seen them play before Magdeburg because they weren't in the Bundesliga, Zweite Bundesliga last year. But having a quick glance, so one of the players that finished as top goal scorers last year, so Baris Attic, got 19 goals and 19 assists last season, and he's been slow so far this year. But a player like that, you just can't write off. You can't take your eyes off them. So they could just turn it on, and hopefully it's not at the Millerntor. But it could be. So fingers crossed we don't take our fingers off the pulse there. But I'm sure the defense is savvy. He's there. I think he plays on the left wing for them. So a good test for Saliakas.
Yeah. And I think we forgot to mention that Jackson Irvine wore the armband for the first time against Kaiserslautern. It'll be interesting to see who's.
Even though Pacarada was playing, so are they equal co-captains? The dynamic
they are, or so we're told from the club anyway. I think they sort of have different leadership qualities, and Schultz has seen that and wants them to share the captaincy. As I understand it, they've already looked at the entire match day schedule and have decided who wears the armband for what games.
Right. Okay. Did they flip a coin or something? Or just that one.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who's got the armband for the next match against Magdeburg.
Well, that could be a nice segment. We get to guess who's going to be the next captain.
Yeah.
Instead of guessing the score, right? Who's going to be the captain? Who's wearing the armband? But just on that as well. Jackson Irvine was really good today. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan. I'll openly say that. To much hate. But there were still a few errors, don't get me wrong, where he missed a pass from 3 meters away in the opponent's final third. I think I pointed that out in the commentary. But for everything else, he was a machine today. It's really good.
Yeah, his consistency
Can't fault him.
is great. I think him and Eric Smith and Hartl are a great midfield. Very strong midfield for the second division in Germany. And he's had a really good first season. I think the only thing was that he didn't really make much of a contribution in terms of goals. That's something he wanted to work on for this year. He's already got 2. So I think he can really push on. And now with the faith that Timo showed in him by giving him the co-captaincy, expect a big year.
It's his year, right? Because he's off to Qatar in December as well. November, December. So it's all coming up, Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. We're lucky to have him at the club, in my opinion, despite your hatred, your unexplained hatred.
I wouldn't say hatred, just frustration. I know he can do better. That's all. I just want to spur him on.
Okay. Fair.
Anyway, back to Magdeburg. What are you talking about? And then another player I picked out is Leo Schienza, who's a 23-year-old Brazilian from them, and 2 attacking players on this occasion, rather than a defender. And the reason I picked him out is he was playing for Schalke, the second team last year, and he got 11 assists in 8 games. And I know there's a difference in quality of the league, etc. But I mean,
impressive.
If you can. Yeah, it's pretty good going, right? In 8 games to get 11 assists, and Magdeburg have seen the potential and signed him. So I don't think he's done too much just yet this season. But those things. It's just like as soon as it clicks, and then it starts to flow. So we just hope it's not the Millerntor.
Yeah, let's hope so. So what do you think in terms of score? Surely you have St Pauli winning this one.
I do. I had them winning the last one too, and Pauli the cat. I can't believe we both got it wrong.
Yeah,
it's disappointing today.
Shame on us.
But I think it's going to be a very scrappy game with very, very few chances, and it'll be a 2-1, hard-fought, long, drawn-out game that will be forgotten very quickly. But the main thing is to get the 3 points, and I think it'll be 2-1.
Jeez, you're really pumping me up for this match. Can't wait.
I can't wait to write the selling text that goes with the St Pauli TV.
I'm going to be a lot more optimistic than you. I think if we're going to trounce any teams this season, it'll be the likes of Magdeburg. So I'm going for a 4-0 thrashing.
But now you're setting up, because if we don't thrash them...
I know, true. But I've just got to go with my gut. And I reckon our strikers will start firing.
Just hoping because you're at the game.
Yeah.
Just hoping because you're at the game.
Exactly. And I've also... predicted a clean sheet, which is, I don't know, I'm starting to rethink that already. As we've conceded
you locked it in.
6 goals already. I don't know what makes me think that we're all of a sudden going to be great at the back.
Well, it was 2 against Nuremberg, then 2 against Hanover, 1 against 2 again today. So I guess hopefully that trend doesn't maintain.
No.
Otherwise we need to start scoring 3 in every game.
Yeah, you can't concede 2 every match. That's nipped that in the bud, Sharpish.
Yeah, precisely. So unless you start scoring 3 or 4, in which case it's entertaining football, great. But no, if we can, as you say, because last year we were known for our defensive strength. Obviously, T-Rice and James Lawrence, who signed for Nuremberg recently. Mm-hmm. After we played them, so that's great. but they were holding up the defensive teams because we had a lot of more success last season in defence. But I mean, Vasil as well, the goalkeeper, who seems to be out injured at the moment. There's a broken finger or something I heard.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
That's right.
Is that right? Yeah, okay. So, I mean, hopefully we can get the defence in shape because Smash, Medic, Vasilihi, I think his name is, strong players, so it should be okay.
Yeah, I think it'll with new defenders, it often takes longer for them to settle in than attackers, so it might be a while before
I still think they should just go do karaoke together, or they should all be forced to sleep in the same dorm for a week or something. I don't know.
Who needs tactics when you have karaoke?
And bunk buddies, because it's an 1,100 kilometer round trip to Kaiserslautern. So throw them all in a bus together. They can carpool or something.
Great idea. Get on to Timo Schultz.
I'm going to text him in a minute. I know someone who knows him, like not directly, but he's a former player who I speak to, who's friends with Timo Schultz. So I'll pitch that idea to him.
Nice.
All right, sweet. In that case, then that's it.
Yeah.
It's nothing else for me today. It's beer o'clock somewhere here, and it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, great speaking to you, Trev. Thanks for listening. If anybody is actually out there listening, that is. And yeah, well, next week we'll be reviewing the Magdeburg match, and then looking ahead to a huge.
I can't remember who's playing. It's going to be a small, insignificant game.
Yeah, just a small matter of Hansa Rostock away.
Goodness me.
I know. Hopefully, so again, yeah. Hopefully, we really pump Magdeburg and get the confidence up for this huge derby.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be a nice setup, actually. Yeah, really good. And yeah, I mean, if you like what you hear, like what you see, not necessarily this, but the I'm a mess today. Look at this. Then we've got some social media handles that we'll throw into the chat. So you'll see that it's 0 followers because we set up a couple of days ago. Or has your mum followed it yet? I can't.
This can't even work a TV remote, mate.
All right, cool. So we don't even...
Yeah, but if you just search like "Welcome to Hell Pod," we have Twitter and Instagram. You'll find us on there.
Sweet, cool. Pleasure.
Right.
Take care. Have a great week. And 3 points we'll be talking about next week and how everything went to plan.
Yes, mate. Cheerio. Take it easy.
Ciao, ciao.